We're born into our names, but we become family by heart. I'm Dustin Gruss, public speaker and family transition coach. When my wife and I found out in the beginning of 2016 that we weren't going to be able to have our own biological children just 7 months into our marriage, we were shook. Little did we know what lied ahead through our journey of infertility, foster care, and where we are now, having recently adopted our 2 beautiful boys. What we do know is every little bit of help we got along the way was priceless. And that's what we can expect with this podcast. Stories of inspiration and resources to lead you through that journey. From the heartbreak of infertility to the hope and blessings that come with foster care and adoption. We may have different stories, backgrounds, and names, but we're all family here. This is Family by Heart. What's up, family? Welcome to another episode of Family by Heart. It is Foster Care Awareness Month, and I am super excited to have my guest on today. He's my second time visiting guest that I've had, and he's one half of a dynamic duo, that being the Blacks. Justin Black is here with me today. He's one of the authors of Redefining Normal, which is a top-selling and inspiring story detailing how they overcame generational trauma, and they did so growing up through the foster care system in Detroit, and they're now redefining what love and success is and looks like for them. They're also speakers and entrepreneurs who made the Forbes magazine's list of the next 1,000 startups or entrepreneurs to watch for in 2021. And they are on tour this summer for their new children's book, I Love You More Than Cereal. And if you've been paying attention to my social media, I've already given this book praise. I showed you I'm repping the shirt today as well. Love this book. My kids love this book, which is even more important, that they love it. And we've actually had some really good discussions about it. So, Justin, welcome back, man. Thank you so much for coming back and helping kick off Foster Care Awareness Month.
No, thank you for welcoming me back. I feel special to be a second time guest, and it's an honor to be here, especially during Foster Care Awareness Month. And I just
Hey,
appreciate
man,
it.
I appreciate you. And again, you're my first second guest. I'm saying it wrong, man.
First, second
Yeah,
time guest. There we go.
everyone knows what I'm trying to say. I'm just not saying it very eloquently, but yeah, man. It's so things have changed quite a bit for you guys since the last time you were on. Last time you were on, Alexis was dealing with a little bit of morning sickness, and she doesn't got to deal with that anymore because you guys had the baby. How's little baby Maeva
Yeah,
doing?
it was that long ago, man. I wasn't sure if baby Maeva was here yet or not, but so our baby we had August 28th, 2022. Life has changed in so many different ways. She is doing everything with us. She's on the road with us, travels with us. I always say parenthood is beautifully complicated.
Mm,
Once you feel like it's like you have one thing figured out, it's another curveball that's thrown in this week, or I guess when this comes out, it'll be a couple weeks since then. But around the middle or end of April, she kind of started crawling. So,
ooh.
or even like beginning of April, she started crawling. So now it's like another curveball you got to figure out. So many changes and adjustments to small things like feeding her solids, starting from once a day, then twice a day, then almost 3 times a day. What food can she eat? What can't she
Mm,
eat? When we travel on the road, a lot of times it's just me, or if it's just me, or just me and Alexis, then we could just pack up pretty
mhm.
quick, get stuff to go. But when we pack up and babies with us, you got to think about playpen, and if she have enough food, and if she have enough of this, enough diapers. One time we traveled to somewhere in, I think it was Alabama, and she was like, I think we were either low on food or something, or not food. We're low on diapers, and we didn't have enough diapers and everything, so we had to stop at Walmart and grab some things. So it's just small things like that you got to kind of adjust to and figure out. and knowing that you won't get much sleep anymore.
Yes.
Sleep changes. It's so many changes and things that's different. But I will have to say that it's all a blessing, and I don't take my baby girl for granted at all.
Yeah.
And the family that we have and we built is such a blessing. So I'm just thankful for it.
And I love the way you described it. Beautifully complicated because it's just going to continue to be so. And once they're toddlers, once they are, elementary school and middle school, high school. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to think about high school. And it's just,
Oh
it's
man.
yeah, it's you get your hands full with them. And I do traveling as much as you guys are with a baby. Like I know there's times where I would just be taking the two boys when they were younger to church on a Sunday morning, and I would completely forget the diaper bag or forget this or that there, and just how crazy it was, and like you feel like, oh, how did I forget that? Thankfully,
Exactly.
most places are probably traveling. You have Walmart's, convenience stores, and grocery stores, stuff like that, where you can pick up that stuff. But it's like, dude, I'm not really trying to spend that extra money buying stuff that we already have.
Exactly.
But how has it been traveling with her? How does Maeva adjust to sleeping as much as a baby does in hotel rooms or like guest rooms if you're staying with people that you know and everything? Like, how does she adjust with the traveling detail that you guys have to be on?
Yeah, so we try to do our best. If it's long road trips, like sometimes there could be weeks where we go from one city straight to another city, straight to another city. If it's long stretches, we try to do our best to try to coordinate a way to um, have Alexa's adoptive parents, have baby at
Mm,
home. Unfortunately, they live like 4 hours away from us, so it's a bit of a drive, but we try to coordinate in that way. But if baby does, we try to, at least if it's like one or two cities, try to keep baby with us. If it's a small trip for a few days, um, it's an adjustment in the hotel rooms and different things like that. Uh, when it comes to like bedtime and the bedtime routine, we definitely have to trade off to see like, okay, maybe I'll be more active in this setting or maybe in another setting. Sorry
yeah,
about that. There's Alexa going
no
on.
worries, no worries.
But so yeah, it's just adjustments and different things around traveling. So maybe me more active with baby while Alexis kind of goes out and network or do something, or it may be, we switch. So I'm, more active and, at a different event. So switching off back and forth to figure out things. And also, if we one thing we have to make sure of is, will we contact the coordinator for a presentation if they want me and Alexis on stage? We have to coordinate to see, is there some type of support for baby while we're speaking
Hmm.
for maybe an hour, a couple hours, however much time it may
Yeah,
be. Coordinate with places to see if there is some type of childcare.
yeah,
That's been somewhat of an adjustment, and surprisingly, we work in a lot in the family spaces. Now, you would think that there'd be more organizations and conferences kind of prepared for, people bringing
right.
children, but I guess they haven't been as prepared. So it's a little disappointing on that end for places not to be as prepared. But we figured it out regardless, and God is good. So no complaints from
Yeah.
me.
Maybe one, it's probably that way for two reasons. One, coming off the tail end of COVID and everything, like where most people are having to figure out things for their kids on their own. Second, they're thinking, well, if they're bringing a baby, who doesn't want to hold a baby? It's like they're cute, they're cuddly and stuff like. But then, now that Maeva's eating solid foods, she's got solid twos coming out of her too. So it's I'm sure
Yeah.
they don't want to be dealing with that part of it so much. It's fun to a
Uh
point.
huh.
But I get it.
Uh huh.
Do you feel like you mentioned also at the beginning there that you don't take anything with your daughter for granted and your family for granted? Um, she is, again, just a baby and stuff, but do you feel like um your parenting is perhaps a little bit different than a normal person would say, having come through the foster system like you did? Do you feel like Um, aside from just appreciating it on a different level, do you think there's perhaps some things you're doing? Because I can tell you with our kids, there's times where um, having gotten them, adopted them through the foster system, you know, people are telling us, so you need to make sure they're learning to sleep in their beds, sleep in their beds. Again, they're toddlers right now. But my wife is like, if they're looking for that physical touch and they need to feel safe, she's like, I'm not going to turn them away. I want they can come to our bed. Like, so she's
Hmm.
treating it that way. And I'm like, I agree to a point, but I also want to get my sleep, you know? So do you feel like there's something that
Hmm.
you were doing differently? You're approaching it a little bit differently than a typical person that didn't go through foster system would be handling with their child?
That's a good question. Ways that I'm approaching parenting in a different way as opposed to somebody who's experienced foster care. I would just say I'm just trying to be super intentional.
Mm,
I know she's young right now, but trying to be super intentional to where she can understand, um, a degree of emotional intelligence. So trying to just be self-reflective, if
mm-hmm.
anything, be self-reflective around the things that I say, the things that I do, things that I say and do around her that it comes natural to me that I haven't really always thought about that I accepted. So making sure even this may be something funny, but like even if the cat is meowing or annoying me, like I just say like, just how I treat the cat is just like telling the cat to shut up from meowing. Something
Yeah.
small like that, I'm just like, okay, I gotta maybe stop using the word shut up or
Right.
stuff like, just small things like that. Just trying to be super intentional about the things I say, the things I do, because I know that she's always watching.
Yes.
And now she's starting to babble a little
True.
bit. And then, some of the babbles is kind of like trying to figure out, you know, the words that she's saying, and she's starting to try to repeat after what we say,
Mm,
and just trying to be aware that our child is always
yeah.
watching, which just can be a lot of
Yeah.
pressure. I think just relying on my wife, relying on those around me to help and be kind of a part of our community, which can be a struggle.
Hmm.
Um, Trying to form community in a healthy way so we can surround her with positive examples, uh, and just trying to be super intentional in any way we can. I would say that probably be the thing that may be a bit different. But trying to just be intentional as I can with supporting her, being an example for her, and being who I need to be for
Yeah.
her.
No, that's great because you are exactly right. They are always watching, and you never forget the
Mhm.
first time that your kids tell you, like, they repeat words after you that you're like, oh, you're not supposed to say that. And
Yeah.
again, I'm trying to work on cleaning it up a little bit and stuff, but there's times where my mouth gets away from me, and my three, soon to be 4-year old, said to me one time, "Daddy, it breaks my heart when you say F and S." I'm like, and like I just gone through experience where I'm like, okay, I need to be more intentional and pay attention. I think it was perhaps even after reading your book one of the times to them, I was like, okay, I need to be a little bit better with that and stuff. And I'm like, man, I don't even remember the
Mhm.
last time I said that. And he's saying it breaks my heart when you say F and S. And this is a 3-year old kid going on
Wow.
4. And then literally, like, I told my wife about it. Then literally, like, within a week, uh, we're in the kitchen and something happened. I like hit my hand or something on a cabinet, and I said F and S. I'm like, huh, I guess I do say it more often than I think. And it's like, oh crap,
Yeah.
he's right.
Yeah, and it just think what's hard is those things kind of come natural to us,
Yep.
you know. You stub your toe, something irritates you, you hit your hand, something happens. It just like first thing come to your head. It just
Yeah.
comes natural. You don't even think about it.
And you,
It's like being intentional about how you react to that. It's
yeah.
hard.
And you might even say it like under your breath, thinking that like, oh, there's no way to hear that and stuff. Like he's sitting in the back seat talking to his brother and stuff, or like singing, yammering away. Then, and he hears me say something under my breath because of some idiot in front of me made a illegal turn or cut me off or something. And he's like, "Daddy, why'd you say that?" I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh man, crap." So
And, every
yeah,
time.
yeah. So there,
Yeah.
keep with being intentional, man. Keep visual on that because you're doing a great job trying to catch yourself now because and keep that out. And I think I told you about a book the last time that I think you would love is called Tongue Pierced. I don't know if you looked that up, but about by Nelson Searcy, about how the
Mhm.
words we say control our life and direct our life and stuff. And that's one that I probably need to revisit myself. But and it's a
Mhm.
Bible based book as well, so I think you would like it. Um,
Mhm.
what's the most surprising thing to you about being a parent so far?
How things change so quickly. You know, I know it's been 8 months of us being parents, and it's come out maybe close to 9, but how quickly things
Mhm,
change. Like I said, she started crawling at the beginning of
mhm,
April, and like you think it'll just be like something small, like all right, she's just learning how to crawl. But like soon as she started, she's just been taking off. Like as soon as you put her down, she's like gone, just
oh
like
yeah,
immediately. And then the week after that, she started kind of babbling, and you hear like the ba 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 ma
yeah,
almost, and it's just like every week, it's like if you blink, and it's heartbreaking to think about when for parents who maybe single parents, single fathers, single mothers, or you just separated, like for people who get their kid like every other
hmm,
weekend, like how much have you missed
yeah,
already just by seeing them every weekend or every other
yeah,
weekend? Because I'm around her every single day, and I'm like, when did she start doing this? Like, when did this
yeah,
start? And it's just every other day, it's like something new, and it's like, when did this start? When did this happen? And it's just like you just feel like you missed it. Just small changes of her growing, her getting bigger, and words she's saying and being able to crawl and hold herself
yeah,
up and being able to sit up and her teeth growing and so
yeah,
many things. It's like if you blink you'll miss it, and it just breaks my heart for parents who aren't able to be around their child. So I would say that's probably the most surprising thing, how quickly things change.
yep, absolutely. Plausible. Yeah, things do change surprisingly quick with the kids, and it is hard for a spouse that's not there and stuff. Like I have an advantage being a stay-at-home dad. Um, Full time, I go to work part time, working as a personal trainer at a gym and stuff. But I only do that like 3 days a week for a couple hours. Whereas my wife, she was actually even like just crying a little bit last night, just because the boys are just growing up so fast. And you I know you have you're probably an iPhone person, am I right? iPhone. Yeah. So like
Hmm.
I don't know if you have like daily photos pop up, kind of like the Facebook flashback kind of stuff, but like I have a Google Pixel and that shows up like all the time. Like, okay, look back and stuff. And just every now and then just get a picture of the boys like when they were a baby and stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, like how are we here? They're turning 4 and 3. And it's just, and they came to us at 3 months and a day old. And it just is amazing to me that they're both going to be in preschool next year. So it just
Hmm. Yeah, and that's crazy. You know, you got a 3 and a 4 year old just being able to, go through that process. I can't even imagine what it's like to have a toddler, because my baby's 8 months right now, and she's a handful. It's like as soon as you pick her up, she's just squiggling and just like trying to get into everything. And we got her birthday in a couple months. She's about to turn 1, and I feel like this time has flew by. It's
yeah,
been a year full of super high ups and some lows, and just already about to be 1. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Oh, it flies by, man. So just keep enjoying it and definitely revel in those trips that she gets to come with you guys, because that's pretty awesome. And if she does get to come with you when you come to Ohio and go to Columbus, Columbus Zoo is like one of the top zoos in the country and stuff. So that'd be a fun one to check out with her and stuff. So
Oh, we definitely got to check that
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Cleveland as well. Anytime you come to Cleveland, please hit me up. Um,
Hmm.
so you got the new book again. I love it. Love you more than cereal. What was the writing process for you guys like? Because again, you and Alexis have the credit for. Yeah, there you go. You got your copy as well. You guys both have
Hmm.
the byline, the credit, writing it and stuff, but it's approached in a different way than redefining normal was. Because redefining normal, you guys both had your individual chapters that you guys wrote, but now this is a book with both your voices telling one story, even though it's more from the perspective of you and Maeva, and Alexis comes in kind of at the end. But what was that writing process for you guys collaborating in? And what even made you guys decide to write a children's book when, truth be told, at the time, like you guys weren't like officially parents yet, when you first started writing the book? Because
Mhm.
again, when we talked about you, the fact that you were working on the book, Alexis, the last time we talked, Alexis was again still pregnant with Maeva. So what was
Mhm.
that process like?
Yeah. So yeah, a huge influence behind the idea behind the book. So as people of faith, I feel like as we're children of
Hmm.
God, and as children of God, we can make some silly decisions. We can do what we want and do what's best for us instead of with the greater good. And I feel like sometimes we can, with the redefining concept, we can work to redefine love in our own selfish
Hmm.
ways. And the concept between daughter or a child and dad, the reason why it's dad, dad and Maeva, or Maeva and dad, is because us as children of God, sometimes we can be
Hmm.
self-seeking. We can see just do what we want and what's best for us. And this story has a father in it where it's around one. Also wants to encourage, um, we work with so many youth who've grown up without fathers, and young men and women who we interact with who've grown up without fathers. So we did want to kind of encourage the idea of fatherhood being normalized again, and especially Black fathers as well. Um, so that was one aspect to it, but also with the spiritual aspect is, with us kind of straying away from God's idea and definition of love, it's kind of God patiently embracing us and welcoming us back with open arms, and kind of somewhat correcting us, giving us different examples, and not exactly just punishing us and telling us we're wrong, but graciously welcoming us into his arms with love, with compassion, and as he does that, starts to rework our brain into thinking like, and just challenging us in ways like, this is what you thought love is, but have you thought about this? Have you thought about how it's about service, how it's about treating things well in action and not just the feeling, how we can make ourselves feel good, but service to others, despite how we feel and despite what they've
Hmm.
done, service to them and treating them well. So that was kind of the idea behind it. And God kind of correcting us in that way. So it's based on kind of a love perspective of loving those, loving your enemy that's not always the
Hmm.
nicest to you, loving yourself based on patience, kindness, and gentleness, and the idea that love never fails, and really just trying to examine love from an action standpoint, how we can be leaders by loving ourselves and others, and love your neighbor as you love
Hmm.
yourself, and really encouraging people to do that. And it has the other components to it, like fatherhood, Black fathers. So it's something that I wanted to not only just teach our child, even if we didn't have a child yet, not only something I wanted to just teach our child, but something I wanted to teach other children as well. And as you've mentioned before, parents read this and maybe they may feel touched in their heart and maybe challenged a bit as well, because the father in this story is taking godly principles and acting them out. And I think it's just amazing that, we get to call God our Father, and us as children of God, it kind of plays into this same scenario of us kind of thinking we know what's best and doing our own thing. But, just having conversations and really questioning our patience and our kindness, and what is the source of our actions? Is it more self-seeking, or is it about service
Yeah.
to others? And I really wanted to have that conversation to not only challenge the kids and youth, but to challenge entire
Yeah.
families to build a new structure, a new definition of love based on these challenging
Yeah.
principles.
No, and I love it. And I told you right away when I read it, that it definitely called me out on it. And I was like, dang, man, like you're gonna hit me right there. You can hit me right there with that. Like realizing like, okay, maybe I wasn't the most patient. Maybe I'm not showing him the kind of love that I want him to have, and seeing again, like hearing them repeat words back and say things or do things and stuff, and realizing sometimes that like how I've acted in certain situations, they will pick up like because Dracy will definitely model things after me sometimes, you know, uh, like how you're saying, like shut up to the cat and stuff, like shouting the dog's name, like Eva, like stop doing that, like get away, and he'll do that. Well, then his little brother looks up to him, and so he models right after him. So I'm like, okay, I have to watch. And so like every time I've read the book to the kids, which is quite often, like they not only do they have questions and ask me certain things about it, but it's also like making me question myself and be more insightful myself. Like, okay, I need to approach it differently. I need to make sure I'm being more aware and take that time and stuff. So it's a wonderful book for
Mhm.
parents of any type to not only look at how to explain that concept of love to your kids, but also how are you displaying it to them. So it's wonderfully, wonderfully done. And and here in our conversations, you're able to talk about God and everything so freely, our relationship with Him being our Father and everything, and the way you describe like the different aspects of God's love and everything. I definitely got like First Corinthians out of the book, like love is patient, love is kind, and everything. But hearing everything
Mhm.
else you described, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense too and stuff. But like, this book is so valuable for anyone, like regardless of their religious affiliation and stuff. Like it's so masterfully
Mhm.
done. And so just definitely hats off to you and Alexis on such a wonderful, wonderful book.
And we didn't want to like overwhelm people with that concept. What I try to do is try to uh reinvent or go to what God is originally about to
Hmm.
people. And sometimes when you come and say who you believe in, and I'm not afraid at all to share that, but when you share who you believe in, I feel like you get these worldly concepts of misrepresentation
Hmm.
and just people who truly don't understand. So through our books, through our workshops, trainings, everything that we do, we want to express not only just, hey, this is, the religious beliefs that we have, but first introduce you to the principles and the ideas behind it so you can kind of reimagine like the truth
Mm.
of it and the basis and foundation of it, and then get into, if you are interested in more and digging deeper and digging deeper and digging deeper, then you will begin to understand the truth and the source of it also.
So you're doing a little evangelism, if you will, doing that. So like not the evangelism TV and everything, but it's how you approach a person, and you're not thumping them on the head with the Bible. You're talking to them about what it's really all about, love and everything, and being able to bring them back to source. I love that. That's a wonderful way that you guys are doing that.
Mhm.
Cool. What has everyone's reaction been to the book so far? You heard mine. Like, has anything surprised you about people's reactions? Like, what's uh, maybe an out there thing you've heard from someone about your book, and just everyone's reaction on it so far?
Yeah, I mean, we had some amazing reactions. I mean, kind of surprisingly, some people can kind of see the spiritual aspect to it without us overtly saying it. But no, one of the best things that I kind of noticed that really warms my heart is just the
Mm,
illustrations.
yeah,
People have been loving the illustrations, and we were so detailed in this book, from the font and the color to, you look at the cover and you see like the word cereal kind of looks like cereal,
yeah.
and the details of it, this the style of the illustration, and we didn't want to be too controlling with everything and working with our illustrator and other people, but we just really had a
Hmm.
vision with this, how we wanted the character just to look. Last minute, I kind of threw some glasses on me because I usually wear glasses, so the character in the book has glasses on. It's so many other elements and so many things, and we try to be detailed with every single page and the illustrations. And I wanted some of the pages to pop out, like you see the page where she's talking about her bike. Maeva's talking about her bike and the purple bike, and you see like the stars and
Yeah.
everything. Let me take a quick look at that
Yeah,
page
yeah,
just to
here
see
you go.
like some of the details in it. There we go. So I wanted to, when I imagined this book, I wanted some pages to really pop out and stand out, like kind of
Yeah.
dreamy, so to speak. So if I say something like, the the wheels are big like the moon and shining like the sun. You kind of see these big glowy, you know, wheels and purple that stands out. And it's those small things that the feedback we've been
Yeah.
getting. And a huge shout out to our community that supported us with creating the book, because it's the small things like that. It's the small things like throwing our cat into every other page, that kids remember and recognize, like, oh, I love the cat, oh, I love the bike, and I love this. And kids like point out those small things and details that a lot of us don't even really think about as much. So I just enjoy the small things that we put in there that people just love. So I wanted to be dreamy. I wanted it to be detailed, and I wanted to really have small things stand out for the kids as they learn this valuable lesson. But they may love the bike, and they may love the cat, and they may love
Yeah.
the colors on certain pages and how it pops. So that's some of the things I really wanted to stand out. And that bike page, when Mae was talking about her bike, that's probably one of my favorite illustrations in the
Nice.
book. So
No, dude, I totally missed the cat, and that now, like, just flip through. I'm like, holy cow, there's a cat on like almost every page, like, and it's a cute cat too. It's
yeah,
cute. So no, that's awesome. Yeah, the illustrations are on point and stuff, and then you went to your pre-launch community, and you had some picky people like me telling you to do this and do that with the shirt, which it came off awesome. So you're welcome. But no, I'm I'm
thank
I'm
you. Yeah,
kidding. So
no, you gave some great feedback, and that was another thing. I was just talking about the book, but even with the t-shirts, just the feedback with the t-shirts is the wording, the design. It's so many small things that our launch team really helped us with. You were on that launch
yeah,
team, giving us some amazing feedback and being engaging. So small things that we really enjoyed, and to see the people show up after the book launch, like buying the
yeah,
book, the t-shirts and rocking the t-shirts and everything, having the kids wear the
yeah.
shirts and everything. It just all came
Yeah,
together
no,
perfectly.
it's been awesome. I love being a launch team with you guys, and giving that feedback and stuff, and just trying to be a voice of help and not trying to control things by any means. So because it's honestly, you guys did the work. Just want to make sure it was a success for you guys. So you guys are going on a tour this summer. You've already kind of been traveling a bit, but you're going on a book tour for I Love You More Than Cereal. Perhaps a little bit of your redefining normal, covering that a little bit as well. Um, any other future projects coming along as well? Is who's making the book Redefining Normal into a screenplay yet? Like, when's that coming out? Like, come on, man! Like that.
I'm
Yeah,
waiting. If you got Netflix number, just give them a call for me real quick. We trying to get that Netflix
yeah.
series going. But no, I mean, I think we're just trying to take it a step at a time. What we try to do is, when we put so much energy and effort into these
Mhm.
books like Redefining Normal, I don't want to just
Yeah,
move on and move on to the next thing. I want to try to get all the juice out of this as much
yeah.
as I can. So I've had so many ideas for this to further engage with kids, and just throwing out like ideas like activity cards, and so families can have more of a discussion. So if you read the book, you can have a discussion with your
Hmm.
family around certain questions, and be self-reflective and personalize this with you and your family. And trying to engage education institutions around, implementing our curriculum, making kids do like scrapbooks and different activities to help them out and understanding these concepts from a fun perspective, and so many different ideas that we want to do and implement. So if you know of any listeners know of any educational institutions, any schools that can use this support and this conversation around emotional intelligence for children, for families, let us know. We would love to follow up with that collaboration. But that's really our goal, trying to create more conversations, curriculum, activities around this book, and really be able to break it down so adults and different organizations can embrace this even
Awesome,
further.
absolutely, and I will be sure to put that in the show notes. Your guys' contact info, put your guys' travel dates and book tour to check out on there as well. Because if they're coming near you, please check them out. See who they're speaking with and what you can do to help. And honestly, anyone if you have kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, whatever, get this book. Go to their website, pick it up. Again, I'll have that in the show notes as well. But if you want to hit them with your guys' website real quick, and then I'll let you get out of here, man. And I got busy times ahead of you still. So
Of course, of course. So we just revamped our website, so I'm pretty excited to announce it. Our website is re-definingnormal.com. You can get all information about all of our books, all of our presentations, where we'll be traveling, more information about us in general. If you're looking to collaborate, our email is info@re-definingnormal.com, which you can also find that on the website as well. But social medias, the Blacks Redefine Normal on Instagram and TikTok, and the Redefining Normal movement on Facebook. So just super excited to get the word out, to be able to serve, and thank you for welcoming me on again. I definitely appreciate it.
absolutely, dude. I just love having you back on. And one other question, real quick. Are you guys? Have you? I know you had the Rose from Concrete podcast, and then you were doing some YouTube videos. And I know it's a little bit harder to do the redefining fatherhood now that you are a father and you are having to be hands on with a baby. But you guys thought about doing like another podcast of your own, like on Love You More and Cereal or Redefining Normal or anything like that, or you guys?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely want to. We're actually in a few
Okay,
transitions right now, so want a bit more stability in a few areas before we add something else on. So want a bit more stability in those areas before we, pick back up with the podcast. But definitely want to pick that up. Working towards in the summer. More podcasts surrounding this book, more conversations with Alexis as well. You'll be able to hear from her
yeah, yeah.
also.
Hopefully, sometime.
May have to drag her on some
Yeah,
podcast episodes.
awesome,
But yeah, being able to have more conversations, we do look forward to that, and you can look forward to that maybe during the summer. But check it out on our website if you do want to see the previous episodes and things we have
awesome.
available.
Well, Justin, thank you again so much for being on, for being part of the family here, Family by Heart, where we're really just trying as well to help redefine normal and show people that families are made and created in many different ways because we're born into our names, but we become family by heart. Till next time.
Mhm.